What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys survived the FOMC yesterday. It was wild as expected, and we are continuing to sell. Oof. But even though the markets might not be reliable, we got some very reliable people in the house. We got Adam. Good morning to you. We got Albert, Andy, Brian, Christopher, D, Diane, Dylan. Good morning to Fabrice. Greg Gilbert's in the house. Good morning to Jay Linder, Jill. Good morning, Kevin, Lawrence, Nancy, Ron, Sebastian, Tanya, Win. All my peeps out there in YouTube land. Good morning to all of you guys as well. All of the lurkers just sitting in the background, not typing any comments on YouTube, just watching. That's okay. It could be a spectator sport, but it makes sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you share the link with anybody that you think or deem would be interested in any of the content that we share. But let's get into it. So we are still suffering from the remains. This is like the Western movies where the tumbleweed just kind of blow around after like the big fight scene comes in on a Western. But this is the aftermath of Jerome Powell. It was, well, he came in with expected, leaving rates the same. The market initially tanked on that one. The biggest thing was not so much the rates. Some of what Jerome Powell said, he did come in hawkish. I thought maybe he might come in a little bit bullish if he's going to keep the rates same. But he came in hawkish, and the market didn't like it. The SEP, that was the bigger thing. The dot plot was huge. Dot plot, definitely some surprises on there, and we have some of the voting chair members pushing the rates out further. So the market is looking for pivots. They're looking for the Fed to pivot, at least give us a time frame. And with the recent dot plot, it looks like we could be keeping rates very similar until 2025. So we could be in this environment of higher rates for a longer time, unless, and this is why I don't think full on bear makes too much sense. The Fed still has the emergency rate cut if things start shaping up horrible and the economy starts, being a little bit overdone in the recession camp. But we'll see what happens. Pretty horrific gap down, though. So anybody that shorted yesterday and still holding today, you guys should be getting paid pretty decent. This is a retest gap, but I don't know how easy of a retest this is going to be. Somebody said in Slack, I forget who it was, but somebody said in Slack on one of the comments, everything looks to be a fade higher, but maybe the momentum might be a little bit too strong in the bearish direction. And I think that is something that we have to consider. We do have to consider that. So I have, again, my imaginary line, 438.91. If we could get back to that spot, I will be more than happy to put some shorts on the table. If we come into 442, slightly higher, I'd be okay putting some shorts on the table, getting some puts, getting some protection. I don't know. We are opening under the 21 EMA, so I do have to watch that. And that might lead us into, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a full on retest today, but if we get to 437.79, that would be an interesting spot. I think there is going to be some people profitable coming from the Fed, with Jerome kind of signaling that the markets might be kind of heading a little bit lower. So that would be if anybody was listening to Jerome Powell, I think that would give you the opportunity to get in. Big selling day to yesterday. Not a lot of profit taking yesterday, just pretty much to the close. Very, very small wick at the bottom of yesterday. And I think there is some people profitable, but where we're opening is an absolute disaster for bulls. I'd really want to see 436 hold, and it would be very interesting if we do close above 436 today. I don't know, obviously, where this market will close, but getting up into that range, we start to look, okay, maybe we can make a bigger retest. And again, I don't want to go bearish at open. I really don't want to go bearish. I'd rather get either a dump at open, even down to this 431 or essentially 432 zone. We could get a dump down there. I'd be looking to maybe play some kind of a bounce from that point, or just be patient, wait for the higher we could go, and then look for the shorts. But right now, again, you see 2 lines on my chart. 431.82, I think, should be some type of support. And then this 438.91 is really where I had some type of resistance support up there as well. We're about 50% smack in the middle of both those. And at this point, it would be a coin toss. We'll see if anything looks like it's shaping up at the open. I would rather lean a little bit more bullish than bearish at the open if I had to choose, just to kind of play this fade, and then maybe later in the day look for that rollover. That's how I'm gonna game plan this one, at least for down. Let's check out the Qs, see if we're doing any better. Not too much. Again, to the higher side, look for a retest into like 361.77. To the lower side, I've got one little support from back here on the 26th. That's already been retested. I think that will be a little bit weaker at this point, but that's 359.32. If that one could break down, the next spot I have is really 356.75. So I still have a little bit more room to the downside on the Qs. Again, would love to see some type of a pop. I don't know if we come in for a full-on retest. And I don't think this is the, let's go back to the SPY real quick. Q's had it too, but I'd trade more off the SPY. If we go back to the October move, which is the lows, again, this chart's going to look a little bit different because we were selling pretty heavily into this, where we were actually buying into the pretty much the Jerome Powell rally yesterday, or rally, opposite of rally. But this is a big, massive gap down, bullish engulfing candle. So I don't know. Maybe we could do something like that. I think it's very, very highly unlikely that kind of candle comes in, and we're probably looking for some more of a just a little bit of a retest, and then probably more power to the shorts, to the bears. Let's see if the Qs doing any better. Yeah, not much. I wish I wish the Qs were just rallying and look completely different, but that would be confusing. That would be massively confusing. No, but again, yeah, out of both of them, I think the Qs have a better shot of a full-on retest than I think the SPY does. SPY, I think maybe a slight retest. I really don't want to go short at the open on anything. Wait for some kind of pumps to come in. Look for some double tops. Look for some reversal hammers. And I think that's how we have to play it, looking more to the short side than to the bullish. If we are bullish, I'd want to be in there very, very quickly at the open. I'm not opposed to going bullish. I need something. I need some reason why I want to put my money at risk playing this fade immediately. The only strongest reason I have is this is a big, massive gap down, and there was a ton of selling yesterday. I think there could be some profit taking. That's about it. That's the only thing I can put my hat on. But let's see. Any tickers that you guys could throw that in there? I would imagine a lot of them probably look the same. We'll start with the one that looks different, which is going to be FedEx. Yep. FedEx does look different and might be one of the few that does. This is a gap and go. We are into a little bit of resistance. They came out, they beat earnings. Their guidance was good. So you're still getting these strange little moves in the market. But I think this is probably a fade to the short side, even though it's a gap and go. We are into resistance. I'm going to have to put this one on my list. This would not be one that I'd be opposed to shorting. But again, now the problem is, well, if the market wants to retest and fade higher, this has already got some strength in it. And we'll have to see how FedEx does. But FedEx looks completely different than the rest of the market. So at least we have that. I don't like that we're into resistance, and there's a lot of pressure coming into the bearish side. But yeah, this is a really, really good gap and go. Just into resistance. And we've seen this a lot. Even on FedEx, we've seen this a lot. Anytime you get those pops, they've been selling opportunities. So we're still essentially in sell the rip territory. We're making, okay, rip, sell, rip, sell. I wouldn't imagine this one would probably be much, much different. But maybe we could get bought up and maybe get somebody excited. We get to 264.65. That'd be a really, really good spot to look for a short. But even right here at open, people might want to take some profits on this one. So I want to put too much strength behind a gap and go today. We got a lot of Teslas. Tesla. Retest gap. I was going over this in a coaching session last night. How obvious was this short up here at that resistance? And then in a small time frame, actually came in with a double top up there too. Like that's a perfect retest. It was going absolutely crazy. We broke out of we tried to day trade this thing into actually probably this target, but it took one more dip before it started moving up. We got out for a small loss. So it is what it is. That's trading. But yeah, if we held on, we could have got to the, I think it was a 2R target up there. Pretty obvious spot for a great retest. All the pressure came in, sold immediately, didn't close below or outside of yesterday's candle. Today, we are definitely opening at a little bit of support. I do have targets lower. Targets to me, I think we got to get down to this 251.22. I know Jeremy has in Slack. Let me see if I can find that real quick. No, I don't want to change over in Slack. But if you guys check Slack for whoever has there, he posted kind of his picture of what he thinks. And he's just like, man, I'm going to try to load the boat at 200. So I believe he has it just kind of coming down from here and looking at that 200 zone. I think there's a little bit of support where it's not going to be the smoothest sailing ride down. Again, this is a retest gap. We're going to have to see if this thing closes and we do not fill this gap on Tesla, that's horrible. That's it's not quite an abandoned baby, but it probably a little bit more like island reversal. So watch Tesla today. If this thing does not close, then we have a pretty strong island reversal. I do think Tesla is primed for maybe a little bit of buying at the open. Buying, aka slash just somebody taking some profits. But again, I don't know if this is going to be a full on retest. There's nothing really holding this thing back. So if the retest is stronger, my targets to the higher side would probably be this 265.90. I don't know if we get there, but this is a really good support we're opening at. Again, I don't really want to be the first one to buy this one or short this one. Otherwise, my next target would probably take us down to 251.22. I think that would be a pretty decent target. And then we have to see what happens from there. If we start breaking that 251 zone, then yeah, I think a much bigger pullback would be in the making for Tesla. So it's a little bit of chop again. I think maybe some profit taking. The only thing with this one though is yesterday didn't really break down yesterday's candle, and now anybody that was buying here is trapped as well. So we'll have to see on this one. But give me a couple minutes at open on this one. Let me see how Tesla reacts. I don't think it's going to be an easy one. We got people trapped bullish. We got people trapped bearish. Probably more of a chaotic chop fest. Marvell, MRVL. That one's doing something a little different too. Nice little double bottom. Was there news on this thing? Google considers dropping Broadcom. Additionally, Google has been mullying. I like that word, mullying, to replace Broadcom with Marvell Technologies. Ooh, as its chip supplier. They're gonna mully it over. Straight mully. That's definitely trapping some bears. Very, very strong close. Again, I would be a little concerned with potential targets. I think on the high end, we get to 55.89. I'm not sure if this thing has a big short float. Finviz, MRVL. No, short float's low, so we're not going to get any help on the short float on this one. That is a good gap and go though. It is a very good gap and go. Great double bottom. Biggest issue is the entire market is sell any rips. That's great news for Marvell though. I don't want to short this one. But maybe if it does come back, look for a buy spot of 54.19. Unless you think we could hit like a crazy target today, and I just don't see $58 hitting. So Be careful on targets. Otherwise, yeah, I would lean a little bit more bullish than bearish on that as well. Ron, bringing the arsenal of stocks. We got Amazon. Yeah, so Amazon, I was looking at. Was it Amazon? I believe it was. Yeah. Here's another one. I mean, even pre-market, a little bit earlier, this thing was a little bit lower, but we're still below 132.07. So I would not be playing this fade at all. I don't care if it rips up, goes higher, until we start breaking this 132. If we could break, I want to see a break of 132, come back, retest 132, and then look to play that fade higher. Otherwise, at open, I'm not looking to play this thing higher. To the lower side, I got a couple levels that could give us a little bit of interference, a little bit of maybe stubborn bulls trying to hold this thing at 131.51. That's already been retested. So I do think that's going to be something that can break down. And then we do have a gap fill at 130.17, and I could even put targets on this thing to 128.98. I think we're down over $10 in the last 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're down like $13 in the last 2 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of shorting. But we are still below a pretty key level. So again, I don't think this fade's easy, but if this one starts to break the 132, comes back, retests, gives me a hammer, gives me a good setup, double bottom something, then I would be interested more in that pullback. Otherwise, for right now at open, I would be a little bit more short to 129.06. So we'll see if we could hit that one. That would be about almost $3 to the downside. We'll have to see on that one. Google, GOOGL. Massive bearish engulfing candle, no wick there either. I think we have to be patient at this open. Again, all of these are fade higher. All of these should be a fade higher. I'm confused about the momentum on mostly everything. We have very, very good resistance at 131.82. And then support. This one might get a little bit more choppy. The next level down, 130.97. Past that, we have 129.75. So we'll see if that one wants to hold there. But still decent support. I would put Google. I would play Amazon over Google personally. AAPL. I want something with like really good range on it. If we're going to take that shot. Apple looks like a disaster. Again, let's see if we can get a small retest. See if we get any rejection off of 174.46. I got a moving average coming in at 171.06. This one looks almost head and shoulderish on a daily. So any bulls in this thing might want to save it. I don't think their efforts are going to be validated. And I think Apple does start to come down a little bit further. Again, if we're probably going to try to hang into this level on Apple today, 171.16. So about $2.50, 60 cents to the downside. Yep. Let's see if we get a small retest on Apple. I'm going to be looking to go short. Trying to see what that neckline would be. I think neckline would be somewhere here. Something like that. And that would put the retest of the neckline would be this VPOC right here, 174.73. So that's what I have to eye down for. Come back up, retest into that, and then we look to fade. I think patience is going to be the key today. I think Meta, META. Again, same thing, a little bit of a retest. The fact we're breaking that green candle down doesn't help. We're also below what I think support should be is 295.82. So let's see if we get a bounce into 295.82. And if we start getting rejected there, to me, that would make a lot of sense. But again, this is not a lot really holding this thing up. Next target to the downside, I would put at probably 289.18. And then if we really start getting crazy, probably back down to this I would say 279.83 zone should be decent support on this thing. Again, give me a little bit of like somebody's got to want to take profit. I think. No, maybe, possibly. Let's see. Tesla, AMD. Yeah, AMD looks horrific. Obviously, lots of selling pressure on AMD. This one's been just getting caked. Support should be around here. Any bulls that came in on the 25th hosed. Any bulls that came in on Monday the 18th hose, looking for that double bottom. We do have the 618. This is one that I wish could come back up to retest. You do have decent amount of room for the retest. See if this one drops a little bit further though. Let's see if we get down to maybe 97.17. Let's see if we did that pre-market though. 97.17. And we got VPOC. We got VPOC currently holding us up pre-market. Give me some bounces. If we could get bounces somewhere, I think we'll make a lot of Kashisha today. Lots and lots of Kashisha. This is going to be huge now. This $100.91 zone should be absolutely huge resistance, and I think AMD longer term. Again, unless by the end of today the market just absolutely rallies. I'm not going to put it past the market. We're definitely in some wild times. If this market absolutely rallies and we're sitting there with bullish engulfing candles everywhere, I think that's the only way that I'd get back on board with, okay, you know what, maybe this is a trap candle after just tons and tons of selling. Carnival Cruise, this should be a retest gap as well. I got 1432 as support. If 1432 breaks down, I don't really see anything holding this thing up till $13.09. But again, there's another slight little looking retest in that thing. MU. MU, we got not as huge of a gap down. That looks very head and shoulders. This one, I think, will probably fade higher. Good resistance, 69.22. So if you're looking for a short, I would at least be eyeing that spot down. And then if that one could break, a better spot would be 69.87. Let's see if we come in for some kind of retest. That looks like a pretty horrific head and shoulders up here. You also got good double top. I do like the fact that we got a good close below this dotted line, which is my higher VPOC area, $70.36. So to me, future of this one should be, I think, a little bit to the weaker side. But again, seeing if we can get that little bit of a rally first could make sense. Not too much room until we really hit that support, $68.21. So I only got 50 cents. And the only way I'd have to play this one short is either much higher or look for better support, probably around 66. So target would be 66.85 if this thing really gets going. T. AT&T. Actually, not looking as horrible as the rest of them. Still inside day, good breakout candle yesterday. VPOCs are continuing to go higher. Obviously, we're gapping down on this one, but inside day, this is going to be a chop fest. Not day tradable to me whatsoever. It is a gap and go, so probably a little bit more sentiment, at least today, on the downside. Was there news on this one? The deal which DirecTV, in which AT&T has 70%, brings back 176 Nexstar owned televisions. Nexstar owned television stations. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That one's, I probably wouldn't play this one. Inside day is going to be tough, and then it's AT&T as well. NVIDIA. NVDA. There we go. one tiny little support, 410.95. Again, my biggest problem is I don't know if any of these supports holds. It's down $10 pre-market. This would have to be another one I'd have to either be patient to go short. We should have decent risk to reward. I mean, this is still pretty far. This is 402.71. If that starts to break down, next spot would be 383. This would have to be another, either we look for a fade on this one. It's going to be a very, very interesting open. Extremely interesting open. I can't go short. Going long is going to be tough. I'd still want to weigh it very, very quickly in a bullish direction for a lot of these things still. Is that an NVIDIA inverse head and shoulders on the weekly? Let's take a look at the weekly. Not yet. No. This did peak up higher. So I would say maybe you'd be looking at this as your left shoulder. This could be your head. We don't have really that right shoulder in there yet. So any type of a balance, if we get back into this like 450, 460 zone, and then we start to curve, that would be more potential. But obviously we'd be anticipating this, which means this is going to be some kind of a bigger retest. We get some bullish buying. Again, everyone's freaking out this morning because the market's down big yesterday, big down day this morning. I just be calm. Be calm. If you don't have shorts in place yet, it's okay. I think the market will bounce. I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, or next week, but eventually the markets will bounce and you will find better spots to get some kind of shorts in place if you don't have them. Natasha says, hi, Dan. I have SPY put since yesterday. Should you sell it at open? I don't know how many you have. So I would either sell a good amount at open, if not all of them at open. You have one. I would probably, personally, I'd lock the profits in. I would lock the profits because I do see a lot of potential retest. You're also probably going to be able to get the high volatility because the rest of the market's freaking out a little bit. So I would probably sell now, look for another spot to enter if you could. That's how I would play it. CTSH. I also don't know your time frame on those puts. So if you have a lot more time, you have some freedom to kind of change that decision or opinion. Personally, market is giving you a really, really good gift at open. Take some cash. That's what I would do. CTSH pre-market is a small little gap down, nothing too crazy on this one. Maybe for a swing double top, but you also have a good W shape, should be neckline somewhere. And I know I'm on the weekly chart, but somewhere probably retesting this 68.14 if it comes down lower. But we already kind of did retest that, and we're just kind of hanging out. So I don't see anything too crazy on this one. We have run up a decent amount. All those moving averages are still running bullish. That is a bearish engulfing candle yesterday. Nice little trap wick for the bulls. We did retest. I think this one could come lower, but again, same thing with the rest of the market. I would have to be patient on going short at this thing. If you get in short, 69.84, your stop is going to clearly be 71.36 above that wick, and then look to maybe ride this thing down if possible. Zachary in the house. Yep, we could look at Tesla. We did look at Tesla. We'll look at it again. Obviously, we trade that one heavily. That is the morning opening bell. So, everybody out there in YouTube land, be safe, be patient. I think patience will pay highly today. But you guys are incredible. We'll run this up again tomorrow. We'll see how the day ends. It's going to be very, very